Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. We got some mans in there. What is going on, Clint Nation? Happy Monday to you all, wherever you may be. On today's show, we're talking about the Dodgers. It's crazy how that works. Dodgers announced their list of 24 non-roster invites. They also announced their international free agents. They're also got the other thing. Sorry, I'm quasi distracted here. That's right, top 100 prospects list. We're gonna talk about that, plus some other Dodgers newsies, headlines, some weird ass MLB rumors, and more here on another edition of All Dodgers Live. Let's go ahead and bring in the chat. What is going on? We don't want that one up there, guys. Sound off in the chat. Let us know where you're representing your Dodgers fandom here today on this fine Monday. Drop your area code, zip code, social security numbers, all that kind of stuff. Also with us today is my guy, producer Kevin Skinner, 7 Kevin on the Twitter. I'm Real FRG on the Twitter, Instagram.
Wait, no, they can see my hair.
Oh no, they can see your hair. Everything we know is an absolute lie. But yeah, what's going on, man? It's weird. We haven't had signings. I almost feel like the Dodgers don't love us anymore.
No, they don't. Absolutely, they don't. Stopped loving us back in 2012. What's really funny is you said welcome everybody in here on this. I think you said Fine Monday.
Yeah. Had to double check.
Yeah, that was exactly what my AP English teacher in high school used to say. He was very OCD. I don't know about OCD because that's like obviously that's a medical diagnosis, but he used to start every English class with welcome one, welcome all. It's great to invite you back in here today on this fine Monday. And that is just, you just sent me straight back to 17, 18-year-old Kevin, which for the ladies is a great thing. And for the men, I just get beaten up in locker rooms. So
listen, let me tell you one thing right here. I'm going to sit you down for this. I am actually your teacher. I had a lot of cosmetic works done.
Son of a bitch. You don't look Italian at all.
Hey, you know what? Just squint. Put your hopes and don't let your dreams be dreams, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, guys, let's get into the show. Like, share, subscribe if you can. Thumbs up is the main thing. Rate and review the show in its podcast form if you have not already. We'd appreciate it if you would do that. Before we get too deep into the show, let me get one more thing out of the way. I got to tell you guys about BetOnline. It continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025, whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time better. BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. BetOnline is your number one sports betting source for this fine new year. Is it still the new year? I don't know. It feels like we're really in it by this point. But every touchdown, three-pointer, or hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. And we're back. There he is. Shout out BetOnline. Shout out the Believe network of podcasts. Shout out our people in the chat. Diane in the chat. Jenny in the chat. Stephen T is in Monrovia. What's going on, neighbor? Denny Cortez. I be stroking all the regulars in here. Andretti5 saying what I like to see. Off topic, but fly, Eagles fly. I do have my Birds hat proudly represented in the back, but I didn't want to be wearing it here during the main of the stream.
I told my fiance I would hide something in the background that was Dodgers related, but we popped back on a little too fast, and I didn't have time, so I forgot. But I have an idea for the future. So
is it washing your dishes?
Oh, we just made dinner. Fuck you.
Vulgar language. All right, let's get into actual things, guys. I'm sorry for people who tune in and want instant direct Dodgers talk, all that kind of stuff. Listen, it's a podcast. It's live. We're here. We're having fun. We're having a good time. The Dodgers, they showed up and showed out on the top 100 prospects list. And this is where we're at in the season. When they don't sign, we get to have the lead be prospects. But it's a good time. Once again, we've said so many times in recent vintage, it's a good time to be a Dodgers fan. It's a good time to be a Dodgers fan, also a fan of the minor league teams, because the Athletic had Keith Law had 5 Dodgers on his top 100 pipeline, MLB pipeline, 6 Dodgers, and so did Baseball America. One difference. For some reason, the Athletic did not have Roki Sasaki on their list, or you can say Pipeline and Baseball America cheating a little bit, because Roki, it's like he's a prospect, but it doesn't feel like it. I don't know, but let's look at MLB Pipeline: Roki Sasaki, Dalton Rushing, Josue DePaula, Jackson Ferris, Alex Freeland, and Zaire Hope. So 2 names the Dodgers acquired in that Michael Busch trade. You got to feel good about these names, and we're going to talk about them in a second. We will see them in the early throes of spring training. But of all of these dudes, who are the one? Who's the guy? Maybe let's eliminate Roki and Dalton Rushing. Who are you most excited about those last 4 to look at this spring?
If I'm being honest, it's Josue DePaula. Not because he's going to make his debut this year, but I have some residual left over. We missed out on Yordan Alvarez FOMO. And like, not like, don't get me wrong. I obviously it already got clipped. It's going to be put over all of Reddit and all of Twitter. This idiot thinks Josue DePaula or Jose DePaula is the next Yordan Alvarez. I don't think that, but I do think he has that kind of bat. He's got that kind of power to really make a difference in an organization. And, you know, when Yordan Alvarez got traded out, that's all we heard for years. So I would like to have one in the organization. But we're talking about guys that likely have a chance to break the roster defensively and are just like super athletic. Zaire Hope is we've heard a million things about this guy. Mega athletic, just, good speed, great bat speed, good contact, also good swing decisions, which we know is really important for this organization. So if you're asking my brain, it's Zaire Hope. If you're asking my heart, it's Josue DePaula.
I mean, again, I'm going to cheat and give myself the ability to be excited to watch Roki Sasaki and Dalton Rushing because those are the names we actually very much care about. I mean, Josue DePaula, you hope you do see him, eventually donning a big league uniform at some point in time. You never really know with how the Dodgers turn out, with what other big names and prospects they happen to sign, or not prospects, but big names, free agents, and if he's included in a trade or something like that. But big names there, of course. The biggest name though is Roki Sasaki, and he is part of a list that the Dodgers just announced, 29 international free agent signings, headlined by Roki Sasaki. And admittedly, listen, we're not big-time international free agent dudes. We're not big-time prospects dudes. There's a lot of things. This is a big-time toy. He's playing with his toys here. He's being a very bad boy. But
that was just the dog. The dog wants me to throw the toys. So I thought,
okay, tell the dog sometimes Daddy needs to be professional.
I can't. If you've looked at his face, you can't do that to him. He's so cute.
Anyways, let's check this out here. 29 names. Of course, again, the biggest name on that list is Roki Sasaki. But aside from Roki, pick one name in the minor amount of research you did before the show on this, that we were able to do before the show. One name that maybe people are talking about, he could be, somebody that turns into something. Because as we're talking about just before going live, international free agents, I mean, if we're talking crapshoot, this is absolutely like one of the biggest crapshoot areas when it comes to professional sports and really baseball.
Oh, absolutely. It's he is going crazy. You get have as much as your bonus pool will allow, and you're signing kids at 16 years old. I don't know if anybody remembers being 16 years old, but for me, I was about 60 pounds lighter, a little leaner, a little faster, a little meaner in the teeth, stuff like that. But from this list, the name that stands out to me that has stood out among other international scouts is Luis Tovar. He's listed as a third baseman. There's a chance he moves to shortstop, which is weird. I know normally that doesn't happen. But he's the name that stands out. Apparently it's a good bat to ball. We're seeing a lot of this, emphasis. Sorry, that's the word. I'm so bad at finding words. It's a lot of
Gotcha.
emphasis on bat to ball skill, especially on the infield, and that's something that they've really focused on.
Yeah.
The other name that's not on there that's kind of fun is Joseph Dang.
Dang.
He's a 6'7" kid out of South Sudan, the first international free agent ever out of South Sudan, or out of Africa in general. I don't want to speak to that because it's a huge ass continent, and I don't want to misrepresent anybody.
That's fair.
But the interesting, so it's not just him, but it's an interesting profile he's got. Tell me who this reminds you of. He's got a high 90s fastball with a well-graded splitter. That sounds like Shohei Ohtani. It sounds like
another
Yamamoto.
Another big-time splitter boy.
Yeah, it's another big-time splitter. So I don't say that because he's got those, because we don't know. He's a kid. We don't know what he looks like in international competition. But it looks like they're zeroing in on a profile for the infielders looking for like some contact with upside pop, which you can see in somebody like Luis Tovar. Or for pitchers, they're looking for guys with good splitters, something with that's basically a faster changeup, more or less. So they're looking. I mean,
for
the
those kids
profiles.
They don't teach them changeups anymore. People don't have a good changeup anymore. I mean, Gavin Stone did, but then he got lit up like a mofo when he came up to the big leagues.
Yes.
People don't care. It doesn't carry the same weight that it had in generations past. So you got to have something that breaks, that's nasty, that's not just a little slower.
But it's something that, like, from a repertoire standpoint, you can see and identify that, like, okay, the Dodgers really obviously, because even Gonsolin, he throws a split change. Mm-hmm. Like, they clearly like this pitch, which is something that I think, like, maybe not this year, next year, the year after that, but in a few years, maybe he's a bullpen option or something that, he becomes more than just this basically random IFA signing, because that's what they are. They're just darts on a dartboard. Yeah. I love this Pika Peep comment. Wonder if he's related to Luol Deng, because you mentioned this before we hopped on here.
I was like, Luol?
Well, yeah, exactly. So I just think that was funny.
I would say when it comes to the Dodgers these days, more likely than not, I'll say it for me. I'll speak for myself. I view these dudes, these kids, these names as eventual trade chips, pieces that fit in elsewhere, because we've talked about it in recent weeks. This team is so good. They're going to remain so good. The expectations are so GD, which is goddamn high.
I didn't know that.
Just wanted to make sure that they can't take flyers on waiting for kids to get good, waiting for international free agents or some of these prospects to find their footing at the big league level. And like the last year of that might have maybe been a little bit James Outman. Like, I think right now you're going to see a lot of, leaning the more veteran side. And this is a team, it's a front office that always loves to lean veteran. I understand I'm saying that while they also had a bunch of rookies in the last couple of years, and some of them are more pitching dudes and guys that have been in the organization. We've talked a lot about how most of these prospects, or a lot of these prospects, keep aging out. But I would be shocked if we see, beyond Roki Sasaki, like one or two of these names suiting up for the Dodgers anytime soon, but at all. That said, hey, it's always nice to go out and get yourself some scratchy lotteries and hope for the best, and that's what we're doing here. That's what the international signing period is about, and they're able to save some money by not giving Roki Sasaki all of their international money, enough to go out and sign 28 more dudes. That's like going out and getting yourself a whole bunch of scratchy lotteries at the 7-Eleven. Hashtag not a sponsor. We got a $4.99 super chat, by the way, from our friend Richie Flores. It says, Kevin, remembering when he was 18 reminds me of when I was 18. Like the first time I had, how do the kids say it? Segs. I was scared and I was all alone.
I wasn't all alone. It was a group activity. I'm just kidding.
You were about to say something there, Chief?
I'm talking to a bunch of people who want to give me shit about my kitchen in person. So that's all.
Oh, well, don't invite people into your house. It just seems like a
No,
lot.
they wanted to do it at Dodger Fest, and I have to announce officially here because I don't have an Instagram. I can't do it on that. I will not be attending Dodger Fest, mostly because the state's on fire, but also because I think I'm getting married sometime around there. So
Wait,
yeah,
this weekend?
is it this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, then plane tickets are more expensive. I got excuses coming up my ass here. All right.
I was like,
I can find.
I was
one.
like, did you not announce?
I
or
thought
is
it was
this
in March. Is
No,
really
it's Dodger Fest. Come on,
I've never been to Dodger Fest.
It's Dodger Fest, and then a week
The last
later,
time I went to Dodger Fest, I had Cesar's Tours sign a baseball, just to let everybody know.
And
how
look
long
at him
it's
now.
been.
That was that even Dodger Fest? That might have been. They had the community tour back then, whatever it was. I remember that.
No,
I loved that as well.
Dodger Fest.
I got a baseball up here signed by, amongst other people, Milton Bradley,
I have
Jeff Weaver, Fernando Valenzuela.
nice.
Hey, here's one for you.
All right, now you're just showing off.
Chuck Tiffany also signed that ball, along with Dodger legend Delwyn Young. But
Delwyn Young, let's go.
yeah, there's your international free agency stuff. We talked a lot more about it than I anticipated. $25 super chat from our friend Kevin Uhas says Stone has a filthy changeup. He was tipping his pitches in his debut year. Also, I need more new friends in our Discord chat.
True.
I'll take the shameless plug there, an opportunity from our friend Kevin Uhas. Guys, if you don't know, we do have a Discord. It is a mostly very good group of people, because I don't want to just blanket statement that everybody's great, but it's a lot of fun getting to know a lot of people here that watch the show, hang out with us, and to join it only costs $5 a month through our Patreon or YouTube members here, and at the same time you're helping support independent Dodgers coverage here on the internet machine. So shout out to Kevin Uhas for giving us that opportunity, forcing that opportunity for us to talk about Discord. But it's a fun place to interact, and I'm looking forward to talking more this coming season as the Dodgers look to run it back.
Maybe do some not watch alongs, but join in and hang out alongs.
Listen, what I'm telling you is our guy Mike Salas joins us. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you in here,
Mike?
buddy. What I was saying, also Cooper Neal in the chat. Cooper doing some late night t-shirt printing there in the Florida coast. Appreciate him. Diane asked him, what are we printing up, some all Dodger shirts? That's on me. Hand up accountability.
We got some good ideas.
We have some good ideas. Cooper and I have already talked about it, and then I straight up dropped the ball, and then the ball got taken in the trash. We're gonna get to there at some point, I promise. I was talking about something else, and then I got distracted. What was
watch
I
alongs?
Watch alongs. Oh yeah,
or
right.
Listen alongs.
I have an idea. That I really want to do. I would say it's me and you, and maybe we pick like 2 people in Discord, and maybe it's a spring training game, or even going back and watching game 5 of the World Series, but we do the 999 challenge on Discord. So we're home killing ourselves, and it's gonna be a good time.
No.
We'll pin it.
We're gonna have. Oh, okay.
Let's pin it, and we'll talk about it after your wedding. It's just apparently this weekend.
Yeah, apparently I didn't know.
Apparently, yeah. Happy marriage. All right, let's move on. Another one of the things the Dodgers did recently, I think that it happened just after we were live on Thursday, Friday, whenever it was. 24 non-roster invitees were announced, highlighted by a name we've already talked about, Dalton Rushing, who's 16th on the athletics list. Keith Law, for some reason, I only wrote down the athletic, but Dalton Rushing, like far and away I guess number 2 prospect, number 1 real prospect in the Dodgers system. Roki Sasaki's kind of like slightly above that, of course, but it sort of doesn't count. But those are the 2 names that are absolutely like highlighted at the top of that list. Dalton Rushing, Roki Sasaki. Those are the names you 1,000,000,000% need to be watching during this coming spring training. I'm going to be very excited to see those 2 dudes, as I already said. Other names to be watching when we get to the early parts of spring training, because it's important to remind us all, spring training is going to be short. Once again, Dodgers don't have a whole lot of Cactus League season to work with because, they're going to Tokyo. That's a whole thing. Shortened season, flight, yada, yada, all that kind of stuff. But on the veteran side of names, Giovanni Gallegos, who was somebody we were kind of excited about for a little bit after he signed. David Bode, who is another one of those guys. He was kind of a longtime Cub dude, if I'm not mistaken. I forget. For some reason, my brain is starting to, for some reason, picture him as a Rocky, but I think he was always Cubs. But those are two names on the veteran side of things. They have a bunch of service time. Giovanni Gallegos, somebody, Bill Plunkett joined us on Dodgers Territory today, talking about, also highlighted himself as one of those NRI names. As we're sitting here on the 27th of January, we still have not seen or heard anything about the I was gonna say Kevin Uhas, but the Kirby Yates signing. Also Kevin Uhas, breaking news, has not signed with the Dodgers at this point, but we haven't heard anything about Kirby Yates, when that's happening. I still think it's going to happen somewhere closer to when the 60-day injured list opens. But Giovanni Gallegos is definitely one of those dudes you can circle as, hey, give the Dodgers, give Mark Pryor and company an opportunity to work with this dude and get him back to somebody who picked up a fair amount of saves in St. Louis and has picked up saves and pitched big games throughout his major league career. He's somebody who is more likely to help this team than somebody like a David Bode. Let me finish this riff, and then I want your thoughts on guys you're watching, the NRI guys. Jackson Ferris, of course, is going to get his opportunity to kind of show up and show out, as is Zaire Hope, who has picked up a lot of steam in recent months on prospects watch lists. He played in the Arizona Fall League, didn't show out too great, but we're talking about big speed, upside for power, and all that kind of stuff. Zaire Hope,
huge EVs, huge EVs.
Yeah, he's somebody that,
which it for nobody that knows, that means when you give your EV a Thunderstone and it becomes a Jolteon.
God damn it! Damn you. Anyways, evolving our Pokemons aside, as somebody you mentioned, Josue De Paula, we're going to get another look at him. Saw him very, very briefly last spring training. And one name I'm also paying attention to, as long as, a bunch of people, I'm assuming, Mike Salas, friends like Tim Rogers, of course, Casey Porter, watching Alex Freeland, who could be the heir apparent to that Kiké Hernandez, Chris Taylor role. He's going to be one of the first guys called up if and when the Dodgers need an infielder this season. If somebody gets hurt for an extended period of time, he's going to be that guy. Of course, we talked to Casey about it recently. What he likes about Alex Freeland. Check that out if you did not see it from like 2 weeks ago, I think it was. But those are my big names. Those are the guys that maybe they don't have a huge chance to shine during the regular season, but they're going to get that spotlight here early in spring training, and they have to capitalize. What of those names, what are the names you most excited about, and who's kind of standing out for you that's maybe off the list that I mentioned there?
No, those are the names. I mean, Alex Freeland, I'm curious about, just because I want to see if he can actually hit big league pitching. Big league as in spring trade. The roster, like you mentioned, is so tight. The names that filter to the top, it's really slim, because to crack this roster, you've got to be really good. You have to be of the upper echelons of the minor league level, or have a talent that's so elite that the Dodgers can't say no to. Like James Outman a few years ago, his defense was so elite, they had to give him a chance. And then all of a sudden he hits the ball really hard, and they obviously roster him, and he has a great rookie season.
Yep.
That's what, there's not going to be someone that comes completely out of nowhere with this roster. The names that I'm really looking forward, it's not even to crack the roster out of spring training. It's just to see if they're ready soon. It's the Jackson Ferrises of the world. Is that guy ready to handle big league at bats? We know his stuff is nasty. He throws upper 90s from the left side. He's got good secondaries. Supposedly he has really good command. Is he ready to put it all together and contribute at the major league level? interesting to see about that. I'm not all that interested in Jose DePaula. Like, he hits the ball really hard, but because I know Shohei Ohtani's blocking the DH spot for years to come, I don't know where he necessarily fits in. And I really just want to see if Alex Freeland can put the ball in play, because his defense plays.
Yeah.
Not to double up on the term, but his defense plays, and I need to see if he's ready to be basically a bench spot, because that's kind of where we're at. You're looking at bench guys. These aren't, this isn't, oh God, I cannot remember the shortstop for the Diamondbacks last year. But
God, Chris something or other. Why can't I think of it?
No. It was a rookie.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the former Diamondback that was a Dodger for a couple of weeks. Was that Chris Owings? Is that who it was? Was he?
Oh,
he
it was
with the
Chris
Dodgers.
Owens.
Yeah.
Owens.
Whatever.
No. I'm thinking about somebody, but he was. They wanted him to be kind of the next guy, and he kind of fell off. Didn't have a great year. And they left him in AAA. Like, that guy's never gonna make the roster. He just can't. You gotta beat Chris Taylor, who at worst is a really good defender at multiple positions.
Yeah.
So, I'm not poo-pooing on anybody.
Nick Ahmed. Thank you, David.
Nick
That's
Ahmed.
who I was trying to think of. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of
World Series champion.
World Series. Yeah, exactly. Jeez. I'm trying to find. I'm gonna say it, and then later I'll be like, oh yeah, it's this guy. And I'll tell you later. But it's
Hepatitis C later saying Perdomo. It's not him, because Perdomo's kind of been there.
Perdomo's been around. I cannot remember his name.
So, like, to your point, I agree with what you're saying, and that's kind of what I set up there. Like with Freeland, he's sort of viewed, in my opinion, especially, he's like the heir apparent. Could be the heir apparent to the Chris Taylor role, the Kiké Hernandez role. He's not going to be a starter. There's a reason, like, some Dodgers fans are like, oh, I can't believe they traded Trey Sweeney because we need a shortstop. Trey Sweeney was never going to be the Dodgers shortstop.
Exactly.
When you're looking at Detroit, the Tigers, like a terrible team that played really well at the right time and made the postseason, and we were all rooting for them at some point in some way, shape, or form. But he's not like the answer. He wasn't going to be the answer.
Jordan Lawler
for the Dodgers. Oh,
Jordan Lawler.
That is.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have an incredible, like, he was projected to be like the Diamondbacks, like, next that he was supposed to fill in. He was supposed to be like, he wasn't going to be Brandon McCarthy, or he wasn't necessarily going to be Corbin Carroll, but he was supposed to be like the next up and coming bat for them. And he didn't do great in 14 games, but he's 22 years old. My point is, a lot of the guys in the Dodgers system are probably more like Jordan Lawler at this point than they are ready-made baseball players. So the guys that I am looking at are just to see, do you have the tools? Can you crack it eventually?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not looking at guys that, were in high A or even at double A. Like, I want to see, like, Jackson Ferris. Can you do it? And stuff like that. So, sorry for rambling. Sorry for not having that name ready and queued up. It just took me a hot second.
It's all good. Kevin Yuha says, I'm thinking of Chin Feng Chen. That's a Dodgers legend right there.
That's a legend there.
Shout out to all of those early 2000s teams.
Oh,
shout out to anybody that survived watching the 2005 team with superstar closer Yency Brazaban taking the ball whenever they needed a save, which was not that often in 2005. Hey, this is just a great name to throw out there. Hepatitis C later says, bring it up. Cody Hosey says, 28-year-old rookie of the year. Just placed my bet. Hey, that's a hell of a bet to place right there.
Good money. That's value. That's value money right there.
Man, like, just thinking of how long last year we were like, oh man, they need a third baseman. It'd be nice if they had somebody to come up third baseman. And then there's the kid, every year I get on one of these kids' trains where I'm like, yeah, we need to see this guy free this dude. I can't even remember his name right now. The guy who came over from I think Detroit or whatever. Andre Lipsius.
Lipsius.
That was the name where we're like, hell yeah, and then thankfully didn't need him or whatever. Kiké eventually stepped up, got the glasses and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, here's the final point before we kind of shift gears here. there's some names we're going to see. There's, again, the 24 non-roster invitees. You're going to see Dalton Rush. You're going to see, of course, Roki Sasaki, who, let's just 99% chance of making the opening day roster. You're going to see those veteran dudes. You're going to see Jackson Ferris get a few opportunities. But also, you might not see that much of these guys because of the condensed spring training. You got guys who need to ramp up fast. There's a reason spring training and pitchers and catchers are reporting earlier for the Dodgers. They need to get ready. They need to hump it up in a hurry. So soak them in the early parts of spring training. Will these guys have much of a chance to shine this regular season? With all of the talent on this roster currently, it's getting more and more difficult to kind of envision anybody beyond maybe, Dalton Rushing or Jackson Ferris getting an opportunity. If Ferris gets a chance, I think a few things really, really went wrong because he would have to leapfrog a few people that are maybe more ready, more polished, and also already on the 40-man roster, thinking about a Landon Knack, a Ben Kasparius, Justin Wrobleski, Nick Frasso, those type of dudes. There's a lot of depth, but if we see him, I'll be excited. I would also be very, very shocked and kind of concerned because of, again, a few things would have had to have gone wrong to get there. I would say this is definitely part of a bigger conversation we can have about this, which is a bit of a spoiler. We're going to dive into that shortly. But first, I do want to tell you guys about Underdog Fantasy. That's right, we're back. Underdog Fantasy, and it's the easiest place to play all of your fantasy sports, and it's now proudly, or I'm proud to say, it's helping support us here at the All Dodgers podcast. If you want to make some picks on your favorite sports, Underdog Fantasy offers a unique approach to fantasy sports with a simple pick'em style format, so it's easy even for idiots like me, and I'll emphasize the idiot because I'm going to talk about that in a second. I will note, I keep saying it, like right now it's football season. I'm really looking forward to baseball season. So like us baseball people can play together, maybe compare some of these picks together and whatnot. But here is how it works. First, just pick higher or lower on between 2 and 8 players, and you can win up to 325 times your entry. That says 100x. It's actually 325 if you use our promo code ALLDodgers. You get new users will get a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash, which is just as good as money. And I'll tell you about this one. This past weekend, your boy struggled on his picks. Only Saquon Barkley helped me out. For some reason, I went really dumb going lower on 190.5 passing yards for my guy Jalen Hurts. Of course, go Birds. So everything was wrong. I was bad. Don't look to me if you guys are looking at plays. But if you sign up at underdogfantasy.com today, download the app or just click that link in the description below. Use that promo code ALLDodgers right here. You get that free pick. You get $1,000 in bonus cash. Anyways, thank you for hearing me out, and let's get back into it. A little bit of a different style mailbag we're going to have going here. We have voicemails. We have a voicemail at the moment, and we also have some mailbags. So that's the wrong button. Let's listen to our friend Richie Flores, who, as we know, at times has some things to say. Well, that's fair. I don't know what was bad. Oh, my picks. Thank you, Ivy Stroken. Yeah, they were very bad, but at least I'm winning. In terms of my Dodgers won and my Eagles are going to the big game. But anyways, that's the wrong button. I want this button right here. I want that. For some reason, I forgot to update the screen. That has... I'm
somewhere in there.
Kevin, there it is. There he is.
Woo!
At the kids'
I
table.
made it.
But yeah, let's listen to Richie Flores. Let's say real quick here. I think he left us a beefy one. Let's hear what Richie has to say as we are a couple days away from Fan Fest and a couple weeks away from spring training.
Well, hey, Clint. Happy Eagles go to the Super Bowl day. I'm sure you're more happier than Barry Bonds at a PED store. Well, it's been a rough day for yours truly. I promised myself I'd get into shape, and I usually do push-ups in the nude, and this morning I forgot about the mousetrap. But I digress. I don't think little Andy F is done. I think there's a trade coming. I think it's about time that we cut parts ways with CT3, maybe move on Outman, put together a package that will help us achieve 40-man roster room and also get back some prospects in return that don't have to be on the 40-man roster. So I think that at the end of the day, as we get closer to spring training on the first day of spring training, I think that's when we'll see some movement on Kiké, hopefully. And then see the return of Clayton Kershaw coming back and being put on the 60-day IL. But we shall see. But finally, to more pressing matters. I'm volunteering my wedding planning services for Kevin. Kevin, I can solve all of your problems. You can forget about the catering, the honeymoon, the flights, the money, everything. I offer you this. Let's just have the wedding in the DeVore man cave. Just think about it for a second. Imagine your beautiful bride wearing her wedding gown, marching down the center of the DeVore man cave across my custom Dodger throw rug, and 300 bobbleheads staring at her. The great thing about the bobbleheads is that they're not going to require to bring any gifts. They're not going to need to be eating at a catering event. You can spare all that money on food. Your wife doesn't have to worry about the seating chart, wondering if Uncle Fred can sit next to Aunt Bertha and they don't kill each other. The emotions of the Shohei bobblehead holding his little decoy as they look upon that your beautiful bride marching down the center, and just a little tear in their eye because they're so emotional. Even the Manny Machado Dodger bobblehead will actually look happy for a change. And Tommy Lasorda bobblehead would be the officiary of your entire wedding, and with those magical words at the end, say, I do. And then after that, you can just run off to the Ontario airport and take off to your honeymoon destination. It would be epic, Kevin. Must I think of everything? I'm looking out for your well-being, Kevin. Well, anyway, fuck the Dodger Stadium parking lot. Fuck Manny Machado. Fuck the Padres. Fuck the IRS. Had to get that in there. And for the love of God, fuck the Ghost Runner. See ya.
Our friend Richie Flores calling in, and I will say one thing. Danny Cortez, she brings up a good point in the chat. You don't got to feed bobbleheads.
True.
There are a lot of them.
Did probably made a deal with someone you probably shouldn't have, right? That's how that goes.
I don't know. They used to make those kind of movies back in the 80s, but good stuff. Good stuff there from Richie. Let's focus on that kind of prognostication, saying maybe there is a chance that the Dodgers could be making some sort of move before shit gets real during spring training. I've been hoping, I've been praying that they do something. I love Chris Taylor as a person. It's obvious he doesn't have a spot on this roster. Well, he has a spot on this roster, but I would like to see Kiké Hernandez get that spot. And we're going to talk Kiké a little bit later because my friend Bill Plunkett, OC Register, decided to pour some cold water on the whole potential return of Enrique Hernandez. So we'll dive into that. But yeah, Chris Taylor, like if he's part of some sort of trade, but I hope it's not like we've seen the idea of the trade where the Dodgers like offset some sort of talent like a CT3 and maybe a useful name or two, and then like a Nolan Arenado or something. Like I don't want that. I want it to be something more like Michael Busch. Give me some good talent back that's not going to help immediately, but help offset. CT3 would probably help a lot of teams. I think he would, and he would probably be more. I'll say he'll be more better, because I know people get upset when I say that, and it's completely in jest. Of course, I know my ABDs, but he would probably be better if he knew he was like had a full-time role or the potential for a full-time role. He said last week, I'm hoping my goal is to try to get an everyday job. It's not going to happen in LA, my dude. You might not even be. Think of how little we saw Chris Taylor in the second half last year. Like to let that roll, even go to somebody like an Alex Freeland just makes more sense for this club. So I'm hoping Richie's right, is my point here. I hope they find a way to swing one last Andrew Friedman deal, and then also Kiké comes back, and then also Dave Roberts gets a nice fatty contract extension, and then we go and run it back. Those are my thoughts there.
Yeah, I think you're on point with the Chris Taylor projections. I think he pairs well with a James Outman for a low-level prospect that the Dodgers like. If they're a pitcher, they like some stuff, or if they're a hitter, they like a couple of the metrics that the hitter has. The reason I don't think they are doing it right now is because if you're trading for Outman, you're trading really, really low. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to wait for spring training to come around so he can hit a couple bombs or just, show that like his bat is real or real enough to be the 7th, 8th, 9th hitter in a lineup. And that raises his trade value so they could get, a slightly better prospect. We know the Dodgers and Andrew Friedman don't like selling low on prospects. They'd rather hold on to them to the bitter end before getting rid of them. And with Chris Taylor, that's going to throw a wrench into things because if you're trading Chris Taylor, that's going to require the other team to eat some of his contract. And that can mean any number of things depending on prospects and how much they want to eat. So I do think, Outman and Taylor in terms of position players on the chopping block, those are the first two up. Mm-hmm. What it gets packaged for, though, I have no idea. It's too hard to speculate. I just don't think it's happening right this moment because their value, at least for Outman, is so low. Chris Taylor does, I think, have some value. He did end the year on a pretty high note, and he still has that defensive versatility. We're talking about a guy who, again, in a lot of organizations, bat in the lower third. It's just with the Dodgers, they don't have that spot. That spot's clogged. So, for them, they're looking for an above average player. They're looking for someone with positive WAR. And Chris Taylor.
Whoa, it's a big ask there, Chief.
Yeah, it's ask. But that's what they are at this point. You got Tommy Edman batting 9th. Will Smith is likely going to be batting like 6th. Michael Conforto is a really good bat still, and he'll be batting 7th or 8th. So they're going to be having, Andy Pajes, I think, ended the year with 0.1. So it was like slightly above average. But they're going to, they're asking for a lot. And Chris Taylor, his bat, he swings a bat with some holes in it, literally.
Yeah, he's got the Swiss cheese bat at times. Again, he was a lot better in that second half.
It's just an oversized tennis bat, okay? It's a fee fi fo fum tennis racket.
He left me a little when I had him on Dodgers territory last week. He left me a little encouraged. I will say he left me a little encouraged because
he's a grinder. He's absolutely
a grinder. And they found something. They found something that was wrong. He focused on something swing wise. He changed his swing between 23 and 24. He kind of said, I'm getting older. I need something that's more repeatable, not going to hurt me, whatever. Because obviously he's kind of at times struggled with some injury woes. Not so much, but little nagging things that will reduce his productivity as well. He's
so loud in the box. He's always been loud.
But that's the thing. Like you can't don't change that. I love the loud. Keep it loud. Barry Bonds was loud. Gary Sheffield was loud. And yeah, I'm not putting them in the same breath as Christopher Armand Taylor. However,
those are the exceptions that prove the rule.
If he's got that thing that helps him feel good and he does it in the box, as were somebody like Aaron Judge, and I hope Chris Taylor's watching this because I just mentioned him alongside Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds, and the other guy I said, but he's got that hitch, and Aaron Judge does.
Sheffield.
Sheffield. He does the hitch. Aaron Judge does the hitch on the on deck circle.
It's so quiet, though.
It's loud, but there's different ways to get from point A to point B. The problem is up here and a bad swing. He was trying to eliminate some of that uppercut. Was Chris Taylor? It didn't work out. It didn't work out for him, and we're hoping that if he is going to be around, like you gotta hope for the best. You gotta wish for the best for this dude. And
of course. He's never done anything wrong. I love CT.
He says otherwise. He told us otherwise, but even so, check out that interview if you guys missed it, by the way. But anyways, one last thought from the mailbag here, because I had also posted on our Patreon asking people and on Discord. I will admit, people didn't really show up for this one. So maybe I got to ask a better question, but it's, hey, what are we most looking forward to this spring training? Seth Klein in our chat, on Discord saying, sorry, not Discord, on Patreon, saying he's looking forward to seeing how Roki Sasaki does with a MLB ball, actually seeing the different MLB, sized and weighted ball. His point was, I'm wondering how much time it will take him to acclimate to it. And that's a good point, because Yoshinobu Yamamoto struggled a little bit, a good little bit in spring training. His first game was bad. Will Roki get the same grace that Yama got? What do you think?
What do you mean by terms of grace? What do you mean in terms of grace?
Like, will people be like, oh my God, this kid? I mean, we already have this narrative that even you and I have kind of perpetuated as well. It's like, he's not a finished product.
He'll get more.
You think Sasaki will get more than Yamamoto?
Yeah, because they didn't sign him to a $300 million contract.
Oh, so he would get less grace. Like, maybe he'll
get more grace than Yamamoto. Sasaki will get more grace because they didn't sign him to that huge contract. So,
all right,
I'm not saying this, but if Sasaki's a flub this year, it's who cares? He's on a minor league deal. Like, yes, we expect him to have major league ready stuff. Not saying he's going to be an ace. Not saying he's going to win Rookie of the Year. We expect him to have major league ready stuff. But even if he doesn't, it's a minor league deal. He's going to have to go through 3 years of this and then three more years of arbitration. There is literally time. With Yamamoto, man, when you hand a guy basically the Mookie Betts of pitcher contracts, yeah, man, I expect you to be good from day one. Unfortunately, day one happened in Seoul, Korea, not in the States. So, no, I think the leash on Sasaki will be, or at least for me, it will be much, 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 much longer. He's younger. I've already kind of bucketed him as a prospect. He doesn't have refined stuff like Yamamoto. Yeah. At least he has nastier stuff, but Yamamoto's got much more command, not just control. He's got command. Yamamoto's able to pinpoint in all four quadrants. We saw later in the season, he's better able to land that splitter. He found that curveball against left-handed hitters.
God, that curve became such a weapon, man.
It's so fucking good. Like, even when I saw him live throwing it, I was like, oh my God, that pitch is nasty. Left-handed hitters don't know what to do with it because it looks. Oh,
that's right. He dropped one out. He busted it out. I think that was his first game, right, in Chicago, where he started leaning on that. Yeah.
It was nasty, and I saw left-handed hitters didn't know what to do with it because it looks like it's going to be his fastball, and then it looks like it's going to be his splitters. They lay off there, and then it just drops to be his curve. It's just he developed that so fast. He's a little older. Sasaki, to get back on point, there's so much more leeway with him.
Yeah, and I'll say
does not need to be the dude right now.
I set it up right.
Does.
I set it up right, and then I stumbled in my own head about what the idea of grace, and I like what you said. Give him the leash, the leeway. He would get more than just because the expectations are still very, very high after all the headlines on Roki Sasaki.
Yeah,
this offseason, but it's a different ball game when you're talking about a $325 million versus what Roki got, and people know
league minimum.
Yeah, it's league minimum. Pika Peep says, I love this. Yoshi has big game pedigree, and we've seen it. We've seen it on the biggest stages, saw it in the WBC as well, and now in the World Series multiple times this, in 2024 against the Yankees, regular season World Series. Hepatitis See You Later already has Sasaki on their fantasy team. It's probably a good spot for maybe some people. If you can get him as a sleeper, I would go that route. Maddie Man 5 Dodgers. Keeping the low expectations for Roki. It's going to take him a while to find his footing, and I like the way to button this up. One last thing, I like the way the Dodgers and mainly Andrew Friedman talked about it too. Like, they understand they're gonna use him a lot early, kind of ramp him up, see what they could work with, and kind of refine, and then middle of the season they'll have a better idea of what the full Sasaki game plan is going to look like. So it's always going to be a work in progress in 25. But go ahead.
It is. And Hepatitis See You Later brings up a great point. Dodgers made Yamamoto throw his slider more to righties in the playoffs. In the regular season, they didn't let him throw his sliders that often, trying to protect him and not show their hand. This is true. Mm-hmm. told him.
Wait, they can adjust?
Lance,
Did the computers tell him to do this?
They can do that. Yeah. Apparently, algorithms have the ability to adjust based off new information, because that's what algorithms do. But I think Lance Brozdowski was on this too. The Dodgers have this ability to, or not ability, but they've been telling their pitchers to throw fastballs low, forcing fastballs low, which is like Yamamoto's bread and butter. But we saw during the playoffs, he would start throwing it up more a little bit. And that's just something that the Dodgers are trying to protect their pitchers. They are not trying to show their hands. The Dodgers are an organization that knows, hey, we're playing for October. We don't need to overextend at all to win a game in the middle of early July. You know what I mean?
Preach.
Like, it's just, that's not, they don't need to do that. So even if Roki Sasaki has holes, what they might find in one game, like I saw with Yamamoto in Chicago, was that curveball to lefty was uncomfortable, and it made lefties uncomfortable. And then they hit it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it breaks out in August and September. They're going to do the same thing with Sasaki. They're going to find a couple things that they like, okay, we're going to store that away for later. Keep doing what you do. Keep just get better command of the strike zone. Get more comfortable with the ball, the grip, and the pace of play at the major league level. And we'll break out the fun, the toys. We'll break that out for later. Because I do think that's why Yamamoto is pegged as a big game pitcher.
Yeah.
Yes, phrasing.
Yeah.
But I think that's because they allow him against the Yankees in New York, even early in the season. And then, of course, in the World Series, they let him just go full bore. Like, okay, use your arsenal.
Yeah.
But, against the Reds, who cares?
Yeah.
Hey, man, they use it as spring training games because the lineup is what the lineup is.
Yeah. Protect your assets. 162 matters, but it doesn't matter as winning 11 in October. So I love the way they do. I think they managed Yama even through the shoulder injury, and thank God we're seeing him absolutely just yeet a baseball on social media today. So I am so ready for spring training to be here.
My God,
Lord, help me! I am ready to see some Dodgers baseball.
Can the stadium explode? I don't. Can the Super Bowl it's in New Orleans? Can it just explode? They've already had enough problems recently.
Listen,
can we just?
My Eagles are in. What? Come on now. Can I get one more Super Bowl?
No.
I've got a 52 glass up here. I want a 59.
Until I'm happy, you can't be happy.
You're not going to ever be happy. You're a Raiders fan. But we can pin this for a completely different conversation. We're getting long in the tooth in this show, so I do want to move on. Zip Code Zero with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Zip Code Zero. Asking, who wins more championships? Great transition here in the 2020s, the Dodgers or the Chiefs? I'm really hoping it's the Dodgers. I hope the Chiefs never win again. I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm hearing the Chiefs are ruining baseball. Also go Eagles.
Well, yeah, because Patrick Mahomes owns part of the Royals.
That's fair. Yeah. Don Keem says, let's go to Team Taylor Swift. No. Listen, Taylor Swift was an Eagles fan before Trav. But moving on. We talked a little bit around it. This is around the league. This is some MLB headlines to end today's show. What the hell does the future look like for the Dodgers and Kiké Hernandez? Because you and I have maintained, I think rightfully so in the long run, we have maintained that they're maybe not as far as a handshake agreement, but more likely than not, the Dodgers have something cooking, some expectation for Kiké Hernandez to return to this club sometime very early in spring training, like we saw last year as well. And I think he's veteran enough. I think he's grown up enough to be okay with the idea of just kind of perceptively languishing here on the free agent market while people move around him and all this. He's fine with the perception because he knows he wants to go back to LA, and he's made that much very, very apparent. So again, I think there's something. Most people kind of think there's something, but one guy thought otherwise. Bill Plunkett, OC Register, and this is a perfect time. Actually, I'll read. Diane Schroeder left a super chat. We're gonna read this one afterwards, but this is what I asked Bill. Like, what's going on with Kiké? Is there something cooking with the Dodgers? This is what Bill Plunkett of the Southern California News Group, OC Register. This is what he had to tell myself and Alana Rizzo this afternoon.
I am not hearing his name from the Dodgers at all. So take that to mean whatever you want to take it to mean. I mean, I don't see a need. I mean, the roster is pretty full. I don't know who you would bounce off to make room for Kiké. Maybe extra outfielder like Andy Pages doesn't make the team because of Kiké. I get the fan passion for Kiké and wanting him back. He had the quote of the postseason when he told Ken Rosenthal that we won't go any farther there. And that's Kiké. I mean, Alana, that's the personality he brings, the little fire that he brings to the clubhouse. And I think that would be fine to add. I don't think there's a handshake agreement. I don't think there's, if I'm Kiké, I certainly would wait to the very last second to give the Dodgers every chance you can. I mean, where else would you want to play if you were Kiké Hernandez other than LA? So is it possible? Yes. Is it necessary? I wouldn't think so.
So some flip-flopping and floundering there towards the end of it. I will say, not happy hearing that he hasn't heard anything. No rumblings from the Dodgers about Kiké Hernandez. Also, at the same time, I'm not at all surprised because the Dodgers, when they have the opportunity, protect the headlines. They protect the narrative. We got earlier a $5 super chat from Diane. I was waiting for this when we played the Bill Plunkett clip because she says, I don't believe Bill Plunkett. And I believe Bill in what he said, in that what he said is the Dodgers aren't talking about it. He doesn't think they need him. And to a degree, I definitely believe that. I don't think they need him. I think Kiké Hernandez is a luxury. I think he's an improvement over Chris Taylor. He's probably an improvement over Andy Pages in terms of talent and playoff pedigree and all that stuff immediately on the roster. But as Bill kind of left it open, it's like Kiké is waiting to the last minute. Dodgers can figure out their roster stuff, and maybe there's a way, whereas Richie said earlier in his voicemail, maybe there is a trade, maybe something happens, maybe Kiké Hernandez finds his way back to LA, where I think it's the right fit. He wants to be here. His career is better as a Dodger. Fans love him. Teoscar Hernandez loves him. But what are your thoughts? What's your interpretation of this whole Bill Plunkett, Kiké Hernandez quote?
I don't take too much from it. I think the Dodgers definitely operate in a space where there's nothing to be said until something is being said. No one and their mother had the Dodgers signing Kirby Yates after they signed Tanner Scott.
If they have.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was like an if, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, Tanner Scott's available. They signed him. Oh, look, they also got Kirby Yates. Like, that was something that nobody had any inkling about. And I think that's kind of the way it's going here. For those who don't know, if I type in baseball reference on my computer, the first page that pops up is Kiké's. This is a fun fact that doesn't have anything to do with this conversation whatsoever. It's just really funny that
it's an obsession.
Of the hundreds of players I've looked up on Baseball Reference, apparently it wants me to always look at Kiké, which is fine. He's got a handsome-ass face. My guess is the reason you haven't heard anything about it is because there is a handshake deal done. It's Andrew Friedman and Brandon Gomes have said, hey, we're bringing you back. Just be patient. We're not going to talk to your agent. Don't talk to us. Like, you can do what you want.
Enjoy your offseason as a World Series champion.
We're bringing, my guess is they have something in place. They need 40-man roster spots, and they need to maybe move a couple people. And that's it. That is what I expect to have been done. I don't take too much from this Bill Plunkett quote because the Dodgers, at the end of the day, are really good at tying up and keeping things in-house. So if you haven't heard anything, that's fine. Honestly, it's probably better than if you have heard something. So...
And again, he's made his intentions clear. The organization has made their love for Enrique Hernandez, very much known. It's still a fit that makes a lot of sense. You just need roster space. That's been the big thing. We've been harping about this for the last year. The roster is going to be an issue, and it has become an issue. That's the reason Clayton Kershaw is not currently signed, because they don't have a roster spot for him. It's the reason Kirby Yates. Yeah,
everybody knows he's coming back.
Yeah, he told us. He told us at the parade. Dodger for life. It's gonna happen. So, I believe everything that Bill Plunkett said, because it's all accurate. He hasn't heard anything, and they don't need him. I don't know about everything. I don't remember everything he said, but those two things, those are the two biggest points. They don't need him. Yeah, that's accurate. You could argue the point, but technically right now, they don't need him. He understands the love affair. I love what Pika Peep said in the chat. It's not a fan passion thing. It's the fact that he's a proven postseason performer. Now at this point, I mean, this is solidified in stone that this dude has stones in the postseason. He gets it done, and then he posts the most, not enough love goes to that home run off of Yu Darvish in Game 5 of the NLDS. That was sexy, man.
Did you see?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see what you saw it? Oh, it was. Oh, he clowned.
There's the correct word.
I don't look.
Clowned.
I respect everybody that does sports, social media, sports broadcast, whatever. I'm not here to poo-poo anyone's gig or whatever. But Kiké did a grade A clown show on DS, Divine Sports Gospel, and it was fantastic. Ratio and all. That's a free advertisement for Divine Sports Gospel. You're technically a person who covers the Padres. So
hey guys, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe if you still want Kiké Hernandez to come back to this team. I think there's a fit. I think there's an obvious space for Kiké to come home. But might take another week, or what I said on Discord yesterday, or maybe this morning, is here's how it's gonna go. They're gonna start to get rumblings about Kiké Hernandez, reunion signing just before FanFest, and then he's gonna emerge from a cake at FanFest, and everybody's gonna be happy.
He's gonna emerge like Psy at a Korean concert. The other thing too with Bill, exactly.
I know, Psy.
The other
I
thing
got
with
you.
Bill Plunkett's comment is, we haven't heard about Kiké's market from any team.
Anybody.
Any
which
team.
bodes very well for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, at all. Nobody has said any. There hasn't been Kiké rumblings back to the Red Sox, who have clearly pushed their chips in. I gave some props earlier to some friends of mine for the Cubs. They traded for Ryan Presley from the Astros. Good for them. Going for it with Kyle Tucker. Now Ryan Presley. No Kiké to the Cubs talk yet. So the fact that it's not just the Dodgers he's remained silent, it's everybody. So it further, not proves, but it supports my idea that they operate in silence. Kiké's not moving anywhere. I think they're going to do right by him because, let's be honest, he's earned it.
Yeah. Again, if you find a method that helps you win World Series titles, and this is the era in which the Dodgers are pushing all the chips in to win World Series titles, there's this formula. There's one piece of the formula. There's one part of the recipe. Kiké's a big part of that recipe that makes it work. And every year when he finds a way to squeeze into that starting lineup, he just does something special in the postseason. We saw it for years with the Dodgers. We saw it again this year. We even saw it with the Boston Red Sox, where he put that team on his fucking back in the 2021 postseason. But nobody else helped him. But he did some special things.
No, Jaron Duran. I actually don't know if Jaron Duran was on the
Just
team.
go look at that. Go look at Kevin's baseball reference page and go look at all of like the 200, 300, all the huge numbers, like for postseason, consideration, the big even batting averages, but OPS pluses that this dude puts together, way to run a creative play, whatever tickles your pickle. Look at those numbers and what this dude does in the postseason. He plays at all-star levels during the postseason. And without fail, one last thing, without fail, Dodgers players talk about the importance of Kiké Hernandez in that clubhouse. Matt Kemp told me last summer he wishes he had Kiké Hernandez on those teams that were kind of figuring some things out in the late 2000s, which just sounds really weird and sad to say, but if those teams had a Kiké Hernandez, it's possibly a different ball game in 2008 or 2009 against the Philadelphia Phillies. But go ahead. Let's let Kevin cook.
No, it's just it's why the fans wanted Teoscar back.
Yeah,
the dude showed like I know Teoscar was a no-show in the World Series, but he definitely showed up.
In the NLCS, he was a bit of a no-show. Then he came back. I mean, he is the guy who tied the game in the fifth. Yeah, I got you.
It was one of the two. Look, I've been watching a lot of basically only Freddie Freeman hitting that home run off Nestor Cortez. So
there were other players on that team.
Apparently, there were 25 other players on that team. In my opinion, it was just Freddie Freeman.
By the way, this whole segment, I got to riff on this one because this whole segment is just glazing Kiké Hernandez.
Oh yeah,
that fifth inning. Me and Mrs. FRG were talking about this, rewatching that game again. It doesn't happen without Kiké Hernandez. He got far enough off the base to get Aaron Hernandez, bad name, Aaron Judge, to look slightly, boof that ball, and to break hard enough to not get thrown out at second base. And then he was instrumental in the Volpe play at trying to be at third base, trying to make that. Kiké Hernandez, Dodgers don't win that game, maybe the World Series without Kiké Hernandez.
No, absolute ball knower. My dog is squeaking a toy in the background because he knows that Kiké Hernandez is a ball knower. Absolutely. It's why people wanted to turn Teoscar back, because he shows up at the brightest of spots. Kiké does as well. Not only with the bat, obviously he hits a truckload of home runs. Apparently, I think he's tied for third all time in the Dodgers organization for
postseason
home runs.
Yeah,
postseason homer. He's up there. But also base running, like you said, defense that doesn't get accounted for enough. One of the reasons I love Chris Taylor is for his catch in Milwaukee in 2017 or 16? 17. That catch. That's
18,
why
18.
Sorry. It was one of them. But that's my point is Kiké's got a bunch of those. He closed out the World Series basically with that with a great grab that everybody kind of would have been like, hey, if Max had done that, we're not sure if he makes the throw or comes up with it. Not to disparage Max Muncy, because also big Max Muncy glazer over there. It was a donut with the name Max Muncy. Call me Krispy Kreme. All right.
This guy, I think you're talking about Game 5 of the NLDS. That was an insane backhand play. People don't make that play often. It was a tough play. The point is, to button this up, Kiké Hernandez belongs on the Dodgers, and this is how reformed I am. I went from a staunch, I wouldn't say Kiké hater, but when he struggled in his early parts of his career.
Suit denier. You were a staunch banana suit denier.
I hate gimmicks. Let ball talk. But you know what? Kiké needs gimmicks. He needs to have fun, and he needs to not give a fuck. And that's what works for the Dodgers. So anyways, we'll see how it turns out. We got a couple more weeks until Kiké Hernandez is a Dodger again, or we're all going to be sad, or he's got a really, 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 really terrible market and a bad agent. But, hopefully.
Bad agent would be, there's no way his market can be that bad after the postseason he just put up. No way.
But all of that said, people are enjoying my Aaron Hernandez Freudian slip. Listen, I got an Aaron. We're talking about Hernandez. Things happen. It happens, you know.
I love it.
But on that note, guys, that's about it. I don't want to. We got more things to talk about, but we could pocket those for another day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Monday. If you did tube in, I can tell the YouTube algorithm did not like me using Kiké in the title of this YouTube video, so I will refrain from doing that in the future. But thank you for the comments, questions, engagements, super chats here on today's show. I also want to make sure we thank our channel members, our Patreon supporters for helping support the show. Again, this is a fully independent show. We don't have financial backing from anybody else. We do this as a labor of love, but also anything you guys do by clicking or supporting the show goes directly into our pockets, and we very much appreciate that. If you are looking to help support the show, check it out, patreon.com/realfrg, or click on join here on YouTube, or just click the links down in the description below. It's $5 a month to help support the show. Or you can support by hitting that like button and subscribing. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and hopefully we can do that by opening day. Shout out to our mods for doing a kick-ass job in the chat, as they always do. Pika Peep says the chiropractor saved his season big time. No, his was the eye doctor.
Eye doctor.
All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. That is producer Kevin. Give him a follow at, there it is, Skinner7Kevin, whichever way he is on the Twitter. He'd appreciate it if we can get him to like 200 followers, or maybe like 1 million followers. Do something like that.
200 would be cool, because Elon banned all the porn bots. So I went from like 270 back down to like 130. So, I got to build those numbers back up, baby.
Yes, sir. I am Real FRG on the social platforms. Links are in the description below. We'll see ya on Thursday. Bye.